Hello, everyone. My name is Carrie, and I'm interviewing Cubishnia on August 24th, 2020 for the WiC Oral History Project. This interview is being conducted and recorded in a private Discord chat. The recording will be made available for anyone interested on the Black Dragons Discord in the Oral Histories channel. Thank you for joining me today, Cubby. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm well. So the first question, how do you pronounce your in-game name, and why did you choose this name for yourself?
The way you pronounce it is Cubishnia, but everybody calls me Cubby. But I chose that name pretty basically because my husband's his nickname is Cube, and I wanted to be the female version of him, so I made myself Cubishnia.
Okay, that makes sense. Does he play the game also?
No.
No, it's a nickname from real life?
Yeah, it's his real nickname.
Gotcha. Okay, that's really sweet. When did you start playing WiC?
In January 2019, I want to think. Like right after it started, and I got the notifications, and I was actually in Pioneer.
Oh, okay, so it would have been potentially that early then, if you were in Pioneer.
Yeah, I was in Pioneer with GUA, as a matter of fact.
With who?
GUA, the Guardians.
Oh, okay. And what was it like?
It was interesting. Everything was new, so it was something that I had never experienced before, because I've never played a war game before. So this is all new, or at least it was.
I gotcha. And what made you first interested in playing the game?
Well, I had just started, believe it or not, watching the Game of Thrones series.
Oh, wow.
I was a late bloomer. I didn't start watching it until almost the end.
Okay. And you just got interested because of the tie-in to the theme?
Yeah. Well, I've always played the Yuzu games. I love their games, and whenever they popped up with this, I was like, I like the show, so I want to see what the game's about.
I gotcha. Okay. So, those games, I'm not familiar with them personally. Are they war games as well, or just...
The League of Angels 1, 2, and 3.
I gotcha. Those are more combat than war, right?
It's not exactly the same as this game. It's totally different. That's more of a one-on-one in some areas, but it's more of a single player. But you are in a guild and you do interact with other people. It's not the same.
Okay. So, do any other family members or friends from offline play with you?
No, not really. I'm the only crazy person.
Why do you call yourself crazy person for this?
Because there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on in the game. So I'm the only crazy person, I think, in my family that would deal with it. Okay. Everybody else plays other types of games.
Okay. So you said you started out on Pioneer. So that meant that you actually started on K1 then?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so tell me about
you K1
transitioning.
K2.
Well, I think it was K1. I think you had told me at one point because of 1KS, right?
Yes, it was. Same
okay.
kingdom. It's been so long, I can't remember where I was at now.
It's definitely been a while. All right, so let's go through what we can with your history here. So you were in Pioneer, and then the game goes live in April. So what happens?
Well, the game, I think it actually went live the end of February.
End of February, okay.
On open, I think that's when it started. Or at least that's when we got the notifications. And we were all excited. I mean, we couldn't wait. We couldn't wait to start in open. We knew it was going to be nuts, and it was. It really was. But not everybody came to open. We lost the leader and a couple other people who just stopped playing altogether. They didn't come with us. And when we did go in, we didn't start out as the Guardians. We actually started out as MYM.
Okay.
And there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened at the beginning, and I won't go into details there because it's too much. But long story short, the leadership kind of went haywire, and eventually we wound up with a different leader. And I wound up in the council. I was the diplomatic advisor, which is what I'm good at.
I didn't know that. Very cool. Yeah. Okay, so
I was the Diplo on Pioneer as well.
Okay.
So it carried over with me.
All right. So you were in either you renamed, right, to NYM, you said?
Yeah, I think originally they were talking about making it the Guardians, and then they had decided on MYM before I actually got into the game on Open and joined the guild.
Okay, I gotcha. So, what happened then?
Well, then it was just a lot of people growing and trying to take over King's Landing. A lot of crazy stuff.
As being on the first server, that must have been definitely insane. Anything stand out to you during that time?
Well, there was just a lot of interactions and a lot of people, a lot of people trying to get along with each other and trying to figure out who was who. Because we had some new people there. We didn't know. Just a lot of everybody trying to get along and trying to figure out who was who and what they were about.
Right. What ended up happening to NYM?
Well, at the very end, there was an internal conflict that sort of broke up the alliance into smaller factions, or I guess maybe larger factions, because the core of the group went to the group that was with Macus, and I was actually going to quit. I wasn't going to keep playing the game, and Monkey and Maddie grabbed me and dragged me over and said, no, let's do this. And we did. We did this. We opened up our own alliance, and we started with the Night Stalkers, which was TNS. And that was a throwback, or a bow, so to speak, to the very first game I ever played with Yuzu in LOA.
Okay. So, tell me about Night Stalkers.
Stalkers was fun. It didn't stay Night Stalkers for very long. I mean, it stayed that way for about a month or so.
Okay.
And then we had a merge with, I think the name was Big. Monkey had arranged a merge with them, and we changed the name from the Night Stalkers to AGL, Angels of Ice.
Okay.
And we've been that ever since.
What happened while you were Angels of Ice still on K1?
There was a lot of trying to make our own way. We were up at Castle Black. We were small. I mean, we weren't very big yet. We didn't have more than 60 or 70 players, I think, at one point. But we did have two alliances. We had us, and we had our Wing Alliance, which was Angels of Fire, AGF. They are now currently on Kingdom 2.
Okay. You didn't stay on K1 for long, though, right?
No, we were there for a few months, and then I think the attacks on us started to get to be a little bit too much. Nobody, and we understood, they have to attack, they have to earn their merit, they have to get their resources, but we're like, well, we're not your farms, so we left.
Okay. What made you choose to move to the kingdom that you chose?
We chose Kingdom 9 because Monkey knew that kingdom. He had an alt there, and he was in with an alliance there and convinced us it was a good place to go to, so we went there.
Okay. So you guys moved to K9 with AGF.
Mm-hmm.
And what was your experience like there?
It was great. I mean, we had a castle. We seemed like we were welcomed. Everybody was pretty nice to us. We did have a couple mergers. Oh, wait, I think one merger. But I don't remember the name of the group that we merged with. The painter came out of that one.
Yeah, Painters Group.
Yeah, and I can't remember the name. I think it was AOS or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And we got Painter and SS from there.
Yep.
And a couple other people who aren't here anymore. And we also had a sister alliance. It was one of the funnest times of our lives. We had the Black Dragons with us.
Yes, you did. Hello, my sister.
Hello.
So your small group from K1 comes to K9, becomes a prominent alliance there. And you've grown to be just one to now having a main alliance and two sister alliances. What was that like for you?
It was nuts. So we had gone from being just one alliance with the sister alliance to, like you said, that we were a collective. Yeah. So we were no longer just AGL. We were the angels. We were everywhere. We were the Angel Empire. Mm-hmm. It was a lot. And I think it worried a few groups and they didn't like it.
So what made you as a group leave K9 and then choose your new destination for the collective?
It wasn't really that we were at war with them, I want to say. It was just that there were a few players who liked to attack us a lot, and it got to be a lot. They were there all the time. They would camp actually there, and they would attack anybody who dropped the bubble. And we were invited to K19 by the ruling queen at that time, a great friend of mine, and we moved there.
Okay. So what happened when you moved to K19?
We settled in. We were there. We moved into Winterfell, and there was already an alliance there. And we had to work out with them an arrangement so as to, not attacking each other. I believe we were working out who was going to take over Winterfell at one point.
Yeah, there was the whole castle siege discussion with TNR. And this is TNR. A different TNR than the North remembers, which
yes.
got very confusing for a lot of people. Lots of different TNR capitalizations. But the TNR of K19. Yeah.
And they were actually not a bad group. I mean, there were a few people in there that were okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they were not a bad group. This is as well as eventually we moved down to Sunspear, and the groups there was two of them that were down there. They were not all horrible. We had tried to move down there. Probably jumping ahead of myself because we were at Winterfell for a while, but we left to go to Sunspear because there was a larger alliance coming and they wanted Winterfell. So we left peacefully, let them have Winterfell, and went to Sunspear and talked to the alliances down there and told them we were coming peacefully, not to attack anybody. And we were told, we're going to attack you if you come here. And sure enough, we came there and they attacked us. So we had a war.
Okay, so let's jump back just a moment. So you were up at Winterfell. You resolved most of the conflicts that you had.
Yes.
What was it like being in that kind of position now where you're finally really controlling a castle region?
It was interesting. We were controlling the castle, and we had to make sure we kept control of the castle during the sieges and things like that. And if we had problems, we could ask for help, and generally help would come.
Okay.
Who's attacking my feet? My dogs are attacking my feet.
So you mentioned that you had to move down to Sunspear. So that was when OBV and Cartel ended up moving to the kingdom, correct?
Wait, was OBV might have been there already. Cartel was coming, and there was another alliance coming, I think, as well. But I
Yes.
believe it was Cartel who was taking Winterfell at that time.
No, Cartel
No.
was down at Storm's End.
Yeah, they were at Storm's End.
Yeah, they were by the Finger.
Can you remember? It was another larger alliance. They were larger than us, and they needed the room.
Yeah, no, it was
And
OBV.
was it OBV?
Yeah, because AGF was bouncing all over the place. They first went down to, oh gosh, what's the region? Pike.
Yeah, they were down at Pike.
And
they
then
were there for a while.
They were there for a while. They just, when you have 3 alliances in one area and constantly competing for resources, that can get a strain.
It was very strange. They had a lot of, well, we all did. We had a lot of problems growing on K19 because there was just too many large alliances.
Yeah. So they were at Pike, and then they ended up moving up to Dreadfort.
Right.
You were at Winterfell with us, and then we ended up moving down to BDS, moved down to Moat Cailin.
Yes.
And at that point, OBV was coming in, and then you went down to Sunspear.
Right.
Okay. So let's talk about the war at Sunspear.
The war at Sunspear was not one that we started, but it was one that we finished.
Right.
It was the leader for the one alliance there blatantly said that he would attack us if we came, and he did. He attacked us, and we fought back day and night, continually without stop.
What was that like? Because you had gone from being the ones being farmed on another kingdom, on 2 kingdoms actually, to being in a position of power, because SS and Painter and you all had T4s at that point.
I didn't like attacking anyone without reason. Like, I would not attack just to attack you.
Right.
But if I saw that you were on, and I saw that you were part of the alliance that we were fighting, I would attack you. But I wouldn't zero you.
Right.
That wasn't something I don't believe in zeroing someone unless there's a reason for it.
What would be a reason?
A reason for it would be someone who has become aggressive towards other players. Like if you have a player who is coming in and constantly attacking smaller players or even other players that are equal to them, and just constantly zeroing them or stealing everything from them, taking their resources, attacking their nodes, that's somebody who's aggressive. That's somebody who needs zeroed.
I gotcha. Okay. So you're dealing with your war down there, and then what happens next?
Well, eventually the 2 alliances merged with other alliances on the kingdom, or left altogether. Some of the players left, some merged with others. They broke up, and we wound up taking over Sunspear. We had that for a while, a couple months.
Okay.
And then there was another 2 sets of alliances that came in.
Okay.
I believe it was, I know RSI was one of them. I can't remember.
NW1 and RSI.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think RSI is the one that was close to where we were down in Sunspear, and then there was some conflicts back and forth there.
Okay.
Not like fighting, but just some conflicts.
Like nodes dispute, that kind of thing?
Yeah, smaller things like that.
That was a huge thing on K19, node disputes.
Yeah, always node disputes. Everybody was always fighting over resources. I don't know why.
People just weren't on the hyperfarm bandwagon yet.
I know, they weren't. I have a lot.
Oh yeah, I trained you well. I wrote that hyperfarm guide just for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I still have it. So also, let's talk about your sister alliances. So AGF ends up moving off Kingdom. You mentioned going to K2.
Yes, they made the ultimate decision to move to K2 to try to do two things. One, they want to be able to grow and mature, which they are doing. They're doing great on K2.
Nice.
And they wanted to be able to have their own, their own castle, their own place. And they have done everything.
That is great. Yeah, I haven't kept up with Drunky Baby.
I don't even know if Drunky Baby's still playing. There was some changes with the management down there, and the last we heard, he had been gone for a while, and somebody else took over, and there was a leader that passed away.
Yeah, Michelle.
And then I think we lost Maloric. Well, we didn't lose him. He went down to help.
Maloric.
He stayed.
Okay.
Yeah, he stayed there for now.
Okay. And then BDS ended up splitting off as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. We needed to grow ourselves, so.
Yes.
You're still
there was no growing on K19 for anybody that was smaller, including us, and we were not small.
Yeah. Well, you guys were large enough, at least at that point, that you could hold a castle, but K19 definitely had a population that was smaller / mid-tier that wasn't able to participate in a lot of events. They were more of the gatherers for like KVK and things like that, but they never had control of a castle.
Right.
So
we went from having control of a castle to moving up by a castle and being off to the side, not really actually holding a castle.
Yeah. So
we held that position for a while, a month or two, I think.
Okay. And
9/13.
And so, at this point, you're on K19. You're holding Sun Spear. More alliances, big alliances, are moving in, and your allies have left the kingdom.
Yes.
Not just your sister alliances, but VMO, who rebranded.
Right.
Had left. So what was your choice then? What did you do?
Well, I mean, it's not like we weren't on good terms with the rest of the alliances on K19. K19 was a great place. And the alliances that were there were all pretty awesome. It's just that there was an understanding that there would be days of attacks and there would be days of, hi baby, how you doing? Of my puppy's here. He crawled under my shoulder. There would be days of conflict. I'm sorry, okay. I'm being attacked by a dog.
All right. So ultimately you decided to move. Where did you want to move to?
Well, we didn't know at first where we were going to move. We looked around for a while, and I do believe right before we left, it was right before we left, Tanya and SS moved to, well, they didn't move, they went to another kingdom so that they could participate in LOL and actually get some rewards, because that's one of the things we couldn't do. We couldn't participate in like the LOL because there was just no getting around beating anybody in those events. We were just not, we didn't have enough of anything.
So it made sense to move. What kingdom did you end up moving to?
Well, we eventually went to K57 after much discussion, and we actually broke down all the different kingdoms to see which ones would be the best ones for us, and 57 turned out to be the best one.
Okay.
But it had its own problems.
Okay. Where did you end up settling in K57?
Well, when we first got there, we went to Sunspear.
Okay.
Wait, no. I'm lying. We did not go to Sunspear.
Okay.
When we first got there, we went up to, I believe it was Old Town.
Okay. Old Town's the one all the way to the southwest.
No, maybe I might be wrong. It's up. I have to see the map.
I'll tell you. Where is it in relation to stuff?
Is
it northeast of
It's,
King's Landing?
it was below Winterfell and above King's Landing. So that might have been Gold
Okay,
Town.
let's no, that's not Old Town.
No, no,
Greywater Watch,
might have been.
the
I,
Twins.
yes, it was right by the Twins. So
Okay,
it might have been, yeah, because we were right between the two.
okay,
But that's where we moved to. We moved there for uh, a few weeks.
okay. And then you ended up settling down at Sunspear.
Yeah, eventually.
Okay. And what was the reason for the move?
Well, we wanted to take over a castle again, as we had done before, and Sunspear just looked like it was going to be the one place to go to. There really wasn't an alliance down there that was willing to keep the castle. I think they actually gave it to us.
Oh, okay. And what has it been like since? You're still on K57.
We're still on K57. Well, while we were at Sunspear, we had our first KVK there. It was actually pretty interesting. It was fun. It was the first KVK I can say that we actually fought in. We didn't just farm. We went out and we beat people up.
Okay. The war aspect of the game
it,
is real.
it was fun. We took hits and we gave hits. It was something we hadn't really experienced because before we were just the farmers because we were always matched with kingdoms that were way too more. They were way powerful, way too much. We couldn't handle it. But
So,
this kingdom,
yeah.
we were matched with a kingdom that was closer to our own power and closer to our own speed, and we had a lot of fun.
Okay.
But
Um,
that was the first one.
that was the first one. All
Yes.
right. What about the next one?
Well, the next KVK happened to be the one that was right, I believe, right after we took King's Landing. No. Yeah. It was either right after or right before we took King's Landing from DSS.
Okay.
And DSS had already said that we took King's Landing from them. They had said that they were going to, as they put it, attack everybody and anybody on K57. They didn't care who they were.
Okay.
They basically, in World Chat, declared civil
Just
war on
public
everybody.
war. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the current state of things for you right now?
Yes, we've been in a state of flux, fighting back and forth with DSS. We have not left King's Landing area. We took over King's Landing area with them, and
Okay.
we are not going to leave King's Landing area. We are going to stay here.
Okay. So you've been playing the game since the very, very, very beginning, and
Right.
you're still at it. How has your impression of the game changed over time?
Well, in the beginning, I just saw it as a war game, but the longer I played it, the more I realized that it's a lot more than just that. It's a, a collective of people who are playing a game, but more than that, even they're a collective of individuals who are coming together to enjoy some time online, and some conflict, and some fun.
Right. What would you say is your favorite part of the game?
Um, well, I like interacting with my alliance, but I have to say that even when we were on K19 and K9 and K1, I liked KVK, but I hated KVK.
Okay, elaborate on that.
I liked it because it was a day where everybody would go out and fight for one kingdom for one reason.
Okay.
You wanted your kingdom to win, or try to anyway. But I hated the fact that you could be, all of your hard work could be taken away in one flash of a mistake.
Gotcha.
So if you build troops up to go out and have fun and make one mistake, they can catch you out and they can take everything back.
Hmm.
And you'll start all over again. But that's the point. That's a war game.
Yeah, it's all pixels.
Yeah, it's all pixels. It all happens, for a reason. I've been zeroed so many times that I've lost count.
Well, you know the value of Zero Castle now.
Yeah. You can do a lot with a Zero Castle.
You really can. I am a huge proponent of it personally now. I know the value of it.
I have several Zero Castles that are just my farms, and I use them as farms and or as scouts, depending on what I need to do with them.
It's a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about your alliance members. What would you describe their personalities like?
Personalities are all different.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's a motley crew.
Oh yeah, it's a motley crew. I wouldn't have it where everybody was exactly the same. It'd be boring. That would be like, walking in on a mystery novel and having somebody give you the answer right away as to who did it. That's not how I want things to go.
And what do you believe is the key to a successful alliance?
Kinship. You have to be willing to do everything and anything for each other.
Okay. And what is your proudest moment as an alliance leader?
My proudest moment was when we all came together, not just my alliance, but the entire kingdom, K57, came together to fight one terroristic group of people.
Okay.
And won.
That's pretty awesome. And is there anybody, I know you enjoy playing with your fellow alliance members, but are there any groups that you enjoy playing and hanging out with outside of your alliance?
Well, we do hang out with a few other groups on K57, but I haven't really hung out with anybody else yet.
Okay. And are there any particular people that you admire in the game?
Admire. Yes. There are several people that I admire. I admire, well, the woman who is Kynaston, not just the person in the game, but the person behind the scenes, the one who built that person. The character, so to speak.
Right.
I admire her because it took a lot to build that character up, and it took a lot to keep that character going. I admire Makis. He was one of the first strong people that I've ever been in the game with, and he was fun. Still is. Talked to him in a while, but I know he's still on K1. He still fights the good fight.
Okay.
And of course, Napoleon was also another person that I looked up to. He was pretty amazing as far as a leader goes. He kind of kept his group really working like a well-oiled machine.
Mm.
But then there's also the leader of K19, wherever she may be. She was the one person that I looked up to because she started on K1 also, moved to several different places, built K19 up to what it was before it got taken over. And one day I'm going to be just like her.
Okay. And are there any special moments that you remember in the game that really stand out, like 2 or 3?
Special moments.
Yeah.
Well,
like sometimes when I ask this of somebody, something will immediately pop in your brain. I'm like, oh yeah, this stood out to me, and that's like the highlight for you.
Well, there are a few. Like the first special moment that I had was when I was approached by my 2 best friends in the game, Monkey and Maddie, and they convinced me that it was a good idea to start an alliance.
Okay.
Seems like it was a good idea. We're still here. And then another one was when I met a crazy woman who was in charge of another bunch of crazy people on K9. And she loved squirrels. And then I think another outstanding moment for me, the one that stands out, is when we realized we were not, the way we got King's Landing was not how we intended to get it. We had been there as a collective fighting, and the castle opened and we took it. And it was a spur of the moment decision, and it worked, and we took it, and everybody in the kingdom was ecstatic. I think that moment, that when we actually got King's Landing and kept it, that stands out to me.
Very nice. So, last question from me. What is the one thing you most want people to remember about you?
I don't know. That I was fair. I never really, I don't believe in picking on the little person. Everybody should have a chance to play in the game.
Okay.
My motto. That would be my motto. It's always honor before glory.
It's a very good motto. Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to include in this?
Good.
You're what?
I'm good.
You're good?
I'm not a big talker. You know that.
I know, but giving you the opportunity if there's anything else you want to share.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to say thank you for your time, Cubby. It is appreciated, and it's always great to catch up with you again.
Thank you.
I will talk to you on the Discord.
Alrighty.
Thank
Talk to you later.